This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Adam. I was in that other thumbnail you saw a second ago.
Yeah.
My black Santa hat. It actually says Bah Humbug on it.
How long have you had that black Santa hat?
Oh, dude, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. It's been a while.
So
it actually just sits, no joke, it just sits year-round on my Dreamcast kiosk.
Does it really?
Yeah, I just leave it there. And then every once in a while, I'm like, I need it for something. I just throw it on. There you go. Put it in the video.
Very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. And then most of the time, it's useless. It just
So if you guys had the chance to read the thumbnail, today is all about Adam Koralik, a mini interview with him.
Yeah, this is going to be a very disappointing show, everybody. I am sorry. They did not inform me of this until like a minute ago.
So, Will, what is
they
today?
did. I just didn't read it. That's on me. But they retold me when I was paying attention only about a minute and a half ago. So.
What was today, Will? What is today? Come on, dude.
Today is Wow Call Wednesday.
There we go.
Sorry, there's a delay on my end.
Oh, okay. So, funny story.
Is it also Christmas?
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's a thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Oh, dude, this is going to be the lowest viewed video you've ever done because not only am I like the centerpiece of it, it's coming out on Christmas. Nobody watches videos on Christmas. You're going to be so...
Well, I'll just share it on Thursday then.
Yeah, you can bury it under the good one that comes out on Thursday.
No. We'll share it on both days. We'll just share it. We'll share it on Thursday. So the audio version of the podcast comes out on Thursdays, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that we have an audio version.
No, because now my Black Santa hat joke is totally ruined.
Oh.
Because no one will see it. Audio only. How can anyone envision a Black Santa hat without seeing it?
Oh, because of the thumbnail. The thumbnail. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that audio podcast comes out on Thursdays, but most people tune into the YouTube channel. We have very few. We have like maybe 10 people that listen to the audio podcast versus we get anywhere between 30 and 100 views per video. We don't get a lot of. Heroes. What was that?
10 of you are heroes.
Oh yeah. I actually, that's the only way I listen to our own podcast is through the audio version because I can hear it all at once in one go.
I can't stand our faces.
And listen to any mistake, and I'll be like, oh crap, I got to go to YouTube and snip out a part. If there's something really bad, I just go, okay, nope, going to go snip that out. Because the studio is actually nice for that, I will say. Snipping little bits and pieces out. I don't know if you've ever used it.
Oh yeah, I have.
So, I'm going to read the intro that I was supposed to read about, I don't know, 3 minutes ago.
Oh, like 20 minutes ago. Sorry about that.
Sorry, guys. Merry Christmas.
Bad, but it's about me, so I can hijack it and not.
Yeah, you can. This is all about you. You agreed to come on here. All right.
Yeah, I did. I didn't know it was about this, but I'm cool with it. Let's go.
He's waiting. He's waiting for the hit piece to come out in about 3 years.
Damn.
All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. We're recording this days in advance, but since this is being released on Christmas, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. And we're not going to sing it, okay? It's not going to happen.
Ho, ho, ho. We're hoes. We're your three hoes. Ho, ho, and ho.
Today we're doing our first ever mini interview on the podcast with Adam Koralik, so he's the beta test.
Yeah, I'm the first and last one ever, because it's not going to go.
Hey, anyway. we have another one potentially coming in January with a author. But I'm still working out the details on that. So
I do appreciate the honesty. I am the guinea pig. If this flops miserably, we know it's on me.
Exactly.
But I'm
exactly
worried
what
about
we're
Christmas
gonna say.
views, so don't blame me entirely.
Yeah, Adam had no idea this was happening, so it's okay.
No, that's my fault.
If you don't remember,
they were very professional. I was not. They were like, "Here's a very long list of all the things we're gonna do," and I just went, "Looks good."
That is actually the message he sent me. I could pull up the Twitter right now, but we're not going to.
So my podcasts are nowhere near that extensive. I'm just like, all right, we're going to talk about this game came out. Like, that's it. You're like, we'll break it up into details, and here's the backstory. I'm like, you guys are good, man.
Yeah, well, if you ever want us to help you out with a Figure It Out Productions podcast, let us know. We're
plugging us right there. Yes.
So if you don't remember, we covered Adam on a previous Tuber Tuesday, but more than likely, if you're watching this video and you're a fan of him, you've probably watched most of his videos or some of his videos, one or the other. Being that he has a YouTube channel I've subscribed to going on 5 years now, this is pretty exciting to have him on here today, which I guess I could have said that on Monday. It is really exciting to have you on here because
I think you did, but it was so long ago.
Right, yeah, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
The way this Q&A is going to work is that Will and I are going to alternate asking Adam questions and then just letting him talk as long as he wishes.
Oh, dude, that's not a good idea. We'll be here all night.
Hey, we've had
a timer. It's okay.
We've had an hour-long segment before.
Dude, I just put out my Shenmue 3 review. It's 47 minutes of basically me saying I like it. So just be careful.
I do intend to watch that this week. I have not had a chance or 47 minutes to do that
Exactly.
yet.
You see the problem now? Anyway, go on.
You know, despite that, we actually had quite good viewership on our Halo ranking video, so it doesn't have to be a bad thing to be long. You just have to have people willing to listen to the long videos. I'm sure you know that, though.
Yeah.
All right, Will, you want to start with the first question?
Yeah. So, Adam, question 1. What led you to creating a YouTube channel? It was so an easy question.
Okay, yeah, softball. So back when I was, I created my channel back in 2009, at least with the intention of actually producing content as opposed to just like watching stuff. At the time, I had just graduated from film school at Columbia College, Chicago, and I kind of wanted to just basically have a place to host. I had been doing a lot of short films and things like that back in college, and I kind of wanted a place to put them, but I knew that if I just put them out there with absolutely no one watching me, that they probably would go nowhere and I would feel very deflated. So I was like, this is a good place to kind of hone my craft a little bit, as well as eventually put that kind of stuff out. And in my early days, I put out a lot of stuff that was like movie reviews, and I put out these like trailer mashups, and just kind of to show a wide array of content. And then I would start, but the problem with that is I wasn't producing content particularly quickly. And I thought, what else can I do to just kind of make more content? And I was like, well, I have a lot of video games. I know a lot about video games. Why don't I talk about video games? And eventually that more or less took the channel over because two factors. One, it became so much more frequent, and that's really what the audience was being formed around. Mm-hmm. And then the film-related content started getting all sorts of like ID strikes from YouTube and everything like that, and a lot of it had to go, and ended up actually what little of it could be salvaged ended up on another channel called Adam K Trailers. Some of it's survived over there.
I think I subbed to that, by the way.
I wouldn't even know. I don't have access to the channel.
Oh, you don't?
I haven't tried to log into it in years. I think I know how to, but I just haven't bothered. Yeah, so that channel exists for whatever YouTube will allow to survive, but there was a bunch more that couldn't. And a lot of the short film stuff, there's some remnants of it still on my channel, but not surprisingly, nobody really goes back to watch those. And a lot of those short films never ended up actually coming out on YouTube. I saw your hand go up. I appreciate that. For those in the audio podcast, imagine a guy putting his hand up. Got it? Okay, that's what happened.
With a big goofy smile.
Now, yeah. So eventually, the video game stuff took over, and it more or less, a decade on, has accidentally turned into my career, which was never ever supposed to be a thing.
So Figured Out Productions was formed as part of this channel, or is Figured Out Productions its own thing?
Figured Out Productions is my production company. At the time, it was intended to be kind of an all-purpose studio in which we could film short films, potentially feature films, side projects. It would just be this umbrella, and there was a whole bunch of members of it, but that division, if you will, never really took off, and it just kind of ended up being my own thing. Because the only thing that was ever being produced really under that label was the video game stuff. There are short films and things like that do end up using it, but they exist solely on like DVDs and things like that because they were never widely released.
Oh, so if I ever come across a Figured Out Productions DVD, I know that stems from your company, correct?
Yes, that did happen one time. That I'm aware of. So this I did release this one DVD of there's actually an old video on my channel about it. It was a couple of short films we had produced, and we did like just a small like 50 print run, 200 print run of this one DVD with a bunch of our short films. And then we did a video on the channel basically explaining like, hey, we're giving these away to anyone that wants them, and a bunch of people said, hey, I'll take one, and then we would just ship them out. And it was free. Years later, like 6 or 7 years later, I randomly got a tweet from a guy, be like, dude, I was in Goodwill and look what I found. And somebody showed me the DVD. I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. And also, I knew who I sent every single one of those to because they had serial numbers.
Oh,
so then I ended up tracking to who I had actually sent it to, and I was like, oh, because I knew who I sent it to.
You're like, oh, this guy actually got rid of the DVD. Well, you know, it could have just been like a mom or a wife or something that.
I'm pretty sure I know what happened, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, so the guy who tweeted at me, he's like, dude, I totally bought this. I'm keeping this. So I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'm glad. But that's the only time that kind of thing has ever happened that I'm aware of.
That is really funny. Yeah, you guys haven't pulled off like a Scott the Waz VHS session where they literally sold thousands and thousands of VHSs of the Internet and You. Anything like that, right?
Not that I'm aware of, no. The closest thing to something like that is the guy pirating my Back to the Future movies, selling them on eBay as like Back to the Future 4 and 5 in his special edition Blu-ray set. I was like, oh, cool, you stole my shit. I mean, I'm fine with that, but you know, like I don't own it, but it's funny. It's just some metric of success, I guess.
Yeah. If people are, what was the comment? Is like if people are copying you, it's like the biggest form of
flattery.
Yeah, that's right. Except when they're stealing your money, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I wasn't trying to make money off the Back to the Future thing. I don't own it. I was just kind of like, oh, this would be fun. I want to see this exist. No one else is going to do it. I'll do it.
So I did want to ask you about that because it was a question I had. Oh, whoops. Your Back to the Future video. When I click on it on here, I think you'll be able to see this.
Hey guys, it's Adam.
Oh, it's not doing it this time. The last time I loaded this video up, it was like yellow bar, yellow bar, yellow bar, yellow bar, yellow bar, just like all the way across. I was like, is that actually monetized?
I'm sure that it is, but I don't know where the specific ad placements are.
Oh, okay. It was like every like 3 minutes. I was like, holy cow! And I refreshed the page.
I doubt that. If that's the case, that's something that my MCN would have done. Since I made that video, I've changed MCNs twice.
Okay.
So when you do that, the ad system entirely changes.
Okay.
So I actually that's a good idea. I should probably go back and like look at that because I haven't thought about it.
It's not doing it right now, so it might not be the case anymore. But the last time, maybe a month ago, when I checked this video out, it was literally every 3 minutes. I was like,
that's insane. I
like,
think
what?
The most I would have ever done is like every 15 to 20.
That would be. It was just. I was like, whoa, how did this happen? When I refreshed the page,
take a look right now. Actually,
it's not showing any ad placements on it right now, so it might not be currently monetized. I don't know if you're on your studio right now or what, but
yeah, I'm gonna check because that's a very valid possible problem. So let's take a look. No, according to what I'm seeing, the first one comes in at 8 minutes, then 20, then 35, then 1, then 106, then 122, then 140, and then it ends.
It's possible that YouTube glitched because there was one day in the last month that I checked another video out. It might have been a Metal Jesus Rocks video, I'm not sure, but it was every 2 minutes. It's like every once in a while. I don't know if YouTube just thinks I'm buying all of these things. They keep sending me click after click after click after click, but every once in a while this just happens to me. It's like, whoa, every 2 minutes or every 6 minutes, or like, yeah. Even our video, our Halo ranking video, it hit me with like 20 advertisements. It's like, we don't even have monetization. Like, how is this even possible?
Oh wow.
You're not monetized?
No, we're not yet. Hopefully soon.
As soon as you can fix that, do it.
Yeah. We are applied for it, but you know the current rule, right?
Yeah, you have to have what, like over 100 subs and like over 4,000 watch hours?
1,000 subs.
Oh, 1,000 subs.
Yes, and 4,000 watch hours.
Okay.
The watch hours isn't going to be a problem once we hit. I mean, even if we got to 200 subs, because we put out daily.
At our current pace, we'll be there in about 10 years.
No, the Social Blade puts us at like 2 years to get to monetization, which
I like
it
that
is
better.
what it is. But
if it makes you feel better, Social Blade's predictions are usually very wrong.
It's been pretty accurate for our channel, actually.
The reason for that is it's going based on the current speed, but you have one successful video and it's completely irrelevant.
Oh yeah, and that's what we've talked about before. We got a friend, DW Relive. I'll give him a shout out real quick. His videos, like, they seem to either soar or go way under the radar, but he's got like 250 subscribers in 2 months. So it really depends on how your channel does with specific videos. His Final Fantasy 6/3 video has over like 1,000 views at this point already, and he just put that out 2 months ago. So it just depends.
Exactly.
What do you? This is a great segue. What do you think led to your biggest increase in your size and success of your channel?
I I would pin it on one very particular video that even to this, literally today, I got a comment on. In like I want to say it was like 2013. I did a video called "Why Nintendo hardware isn't powerful."
I watched it.
Yep, I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. That one constantly pops up in the algorithm for some reason. To the point where I was even having other YouTubers make like response videos about it and all this stuff. And it's my own fault. I wasn't super clear in the point I was trying to make. So to this day, I still get a lot of people arguing with me over it. And that was what I kind of learned was you make a popular video if people are constantly arguing with you, which is not a good lesson to learn. So I didn't actually apply it, but it definitely like blew up my channel pretty big, like in a very short span. I would say that was probably, if you want to call it any sort of turning point, it was that particular video.
I did have a question for you now that you're talking about people commenting back on your videos. How long did it take you to figure out the Duke controller wasn't wireless?
Very quickly. People pointed that out almost immediately. And I was like, yeah, my bad.
I was watching your video and I was like, oh, somebody's going to make that comment on Adam's video. I know they are.
The annoying thing is I figured it out like shortly after it went up. And I was like, why the f did I say that? Oh, sorry. Why did I say that?
So I remember watching it and I was like, oop.
Yeah, stuff will happen. And then, you'll have just everybody get mad at you and you go, whatever. You move on with your life.
We had that happen on a subreddit post on when we did our Back to the Future 4.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they were so mad
There
at
was
us.
so much backlash. I'm shocked I didn't get permanently banned from the Back to the Future subreddit.
You're going to have to explain that one to me.
We did a video on we didn't do our research, and usually we do. We really should have done more research on what the community, what their feelings are towards an actual Back to the Future 4, because basically the whole community rejects the idea of a number 4 because they think the trilogy is perfect. At least that's what the subreddit is basically saying. If you look at all the posts, it's like anytime a number 4 post, it's like immediately downvoted like 1,000 times.
Oh, so they hate my video. Got it.
No, because I shared that, and they were like, "Oh, we'll check this out," and then they never got back to me. So I have no idea.
That thing's harmless though, because it's not. It's like a fan edit from their perspective, so it doesn't mean anything.
Whereas me saying, describing what we would do with a Back to the Future 4, that was a bad idea.
Yeah,
really, just like an opinion of like, this doesn't change anything. I'm not responsible for the franchise. I'm not actually making a movie, but if I was going to, I'd like it to look like this, and you get a whole bunch of hate.
Imagine nitpicking small aspects of a video, or like something else. Like let's just say, how Star Wars, the fandom is like, they know every last bit of a scene, some of them, and they can pick out where somebody messed up on one little aspect of a lightsaber. Imagine that kind of technical base of knowledge in that subreddit on Back to the Future, and them calling out every last bit we messed up on.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Oh man.
Well, live and learn.
Yeah, no, I won't touch Back to the Future ever again. Unless it's about the original trilogy. Then that's okay. But if we're going to talk about any speculation of a future thing, definitely not that franchise. What's your favorite? Oh, Will, this is you. This is you.
Yeah. All right. So next question 3. What's your least favorite and favorite video that you've put out so far?
I will actually say that my favorite is that Back to the Future 4 thing, bringing that right back around. But that's only because, like, the amount of work that went into that versus, I guess, the amount of reward. Like, I actually am extraordinarily pleased with how that turned out. And I don't mean this arrogantly, but video game movies suck. But that is a video game movie that is actually watchable. And I was kind of surprised by how well it actually functions as a film, to the point where I even talked to people at Telltale about it, and they were surprised. They were like, this is good. We like how this turned out. So I was happy about that. That was a very rewarding thing to do, because like I said at the beginning of all this, the goal was to like make films and, you know, do that type of thing. So for that to pan out in that way, kind of merging the two, was probably the most rewarding. Same with Back to the Future 5 and Jurassic Park 1.5. I think those two worked out really well as well.
Is that still on your channel? I don't think I've actually watched that Jurassic Park
it's up
one.
there.
Okay, I'll have to look for
the
that
Jurassic
later.
Park one didn't do as well, and that was partially because there was an original version that got taken down for a sound effect.
Oh.
Which was ridiculous. But the video went down, and then I had to fix it. So I had to get the original assets back and fix it, and then re-upload it like a few years later. But by then, it's like, all the links where it had ever been posted are totally wrong, and like it's the version that's up there now is fine as far as views, but it could have probably like 3 times as many if that hadn't happened. So whatever. But it's a thing. Least favorite. Probably some of that really early stuff, because it's like cringe to go back and watch some of these like updates. Like, hey man, we just hit 3,000 subs or something. I'm like, why the hell was I doing that all the time? Stuff like that.
So with that being said, we will not be doing our 100 viewer special anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Scrapping that plan.
That's not going to happen.
What I
now.
was doing there for a while was every 1,000 subscribers, I would do a video to thank people. And that was working because it was a thing that only happened once, at the time anyway, once every couple of months. And then there was, I think it was, like I said, it was that one video. It made it totally impractical to do that. Because it was like, oh, I just did it. Oh, okay. Like, you'd be putting out one every couple of days. There was a span there where it was like going really well. Now I've totally peaked like as it is now, but like there was that time where that was happening. So then I was like, people don't even really watch these because they're like, yeah, we get it. You hit a number. Good for you. Move on. So
those are only like relevant when it happens.
You don't really need to do these like, hey guys, there's 100 of you and like, what up?
So
because there's nothing to say.
Do you want to know what the first video I watched of yours was?
Probably one of those.
I think it was the Dreamcast.
Okay.
Because back then, like it was 9 years ago, right? So it was probably 8 or so years ago. I was on eBay looking for a Dreamcast, which I've done every year since, and I've never actually pulled the plug on buying one on eBay because I don't necessarily trust eBay for a Dreamcast. But I saw the Dreamcast and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, and so I looked on YouTube. I was like, Dreamcast, and yours was like the only video that popped up, and you had this one and you had this one. I want to say these two were both up at the time.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
the
watched,
controller and then the entire console.
I watched both of them, and I was like, yeah, for $200, I'm not getting a Dreamcast. Now what? They're like $500 or something. It's just getting the
minimum. Yeah,
bag.
they're nearly impossible to get. That's
Yeah.
another one of those imitation is the highest form of flattery things, because you go to a lot of those eBay pages. A lot of them will use like screenshots from my videos for stuff like that. Because they're like, nobody covers the Divers 2000. Nobody covers the Dreamcast. Where are we even going to get images of that? This nerd, he has that crap for some reason. Yeah.
On my old YouTube channel, because I've deleted several of my old channels due to copyright strikes affecting my AdSense account that I still maintain, but I get no money on anymore. And I originally subscribed to. It must have been 9 years ago at this point, because I remember when this video came out. Or not, sorry, not that one. This one. The Divers one. I watched that one when you put it out because I was like,
really?
what is this?
Because I've done 2 on the Divers. Are you sure you're not thinking of the later one?
No, it was definitely this one.
Okay. Well,
let me see if there's another one. When did you release the second one?
It would be way higher up.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I was a late adopter. I'm sorry, man.
I'm
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he subscribed because I sent him a link to your channel when we covered you.
Yeah, he did. That's exactly what happened. So I was like, I don't even know who this is. This person's never popped up in my suggestions.
I probably dropped off for a little while because, like I said, because I was doing YouTube, so I wasn't watching anybody. So I probably didn't watch you for a little while between the PS2 video when you restored that one, and then probably around the time of, I'm trying to remember when I started watching again. I think it was this one when you started putting out the 32X restoration video, because between those two times,
those things for some reason,
the restoration videos.
Yeah, they were meant to be just kind of like, hey, I'm bored, let's try this. It wasn't meant to be like this thing that I actually get known for. Like, no, I kid you not. Like, that will be one of the top things people will say to me if I'm ever at a convention. Like, dude, are you the guy who cleans that stuff? I'm like, how do you even know that? Like, do my hands stand out? I don't get it. But there are people who like totally are into those. I think there's some like I don't think they, and a lot of them say like in the comments, like I don't even have one of these. I just like watching this. I'm like, I think there's some ASMR type of thing to this. That's the only thing I can. But somebody said it. These are basically like Bob Ross, taking apart a console. It's weird. I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that.
With that being said, what are your favorite channels to watch on YouTube? Do you have time to watch YouTube?
Yes, but a lot of the stuff I watch has no correlation to my channel. Like I watch a lot of stuff about space exploration. I watch a lot of stuff about film and video, the history of how stuff like that went down. I actually kind of avoid video game videos because I'm really burned out about it because I've been working in it for 10 years. Yep. I mean, there are people I do watch, like as we talked about him in a different episode, but Norm, gaming historian, again, friend of mine, but I love watching his content. Like he's one of those guys where he makes a video and you just stop because it's an event. It's time to watch a Norm video. A lot of stuff like that. I watch a lot of film and video channels like Mr. Sunday Movies and things like that. But the amount of video game channels, not a lot, because I find that I don't really care too much about news for video games. Like I'm so behind the curtain on a lot of that stuff that I don't care what a bunch of channels have to think about a story I heard about 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Like I don't care.
Yeah. So you kind of have some insiders, don't you?
Huh?
You kind of got some inside information on some things.
Let's just put it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I really am only interested in obscure stuff from retro gaming, like the story of how this thing exists, that I did not know about. But modern stuff, it hasn't had enough time to age. It's like a wine. You got to give it time for me to really digest it and think like, okay, this is good. This is how this is supposed to be. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's why I don't typically watch a whole lot of video game videos.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, do you want to go on to the next question?
Yeah. All right, so next question. What would you say your second favorite console is? Because we're pretty certain we know what your first console, what your first choice would be.
Well, first choice is Dreamcast, and second choice would be the Sega Genesis, Sega CD 32X combo. If you have all of that as one console, I'll give you that. If you don't, or you're like, it's just the Genesis, then it just depends on the day you ask me, because it would either be that or the Super Nintendo.
Okay. I was not expecting the SNES.
Okay. Only because of the additional game content and additional just oddity that is the story of all of that. Yeah. And the fact that you can do cool things with the CD unit and all that stuff. But without it, when it's just the Genesis, it depends on the day.
do you have a working Atari Jaguar CD?
I do.
Do you? It's kind of a
Atari Jaguar CD collection.
Do you really?
There's not many. There's like 13 games.
Oh, okay.
But I have all.
Are there any?
I have 4 of the independent games.
Isn't there duplicates of the cartridge-based games in the CD collection?
I think there's one. I want to say Iron Soldier.
Is that the flying one?
Huh?
Is that the flying one where she's like, you have... I can't remember.
You're thinking of Cybermorph.
Cybermorph, because there's a different version.
Cybermorph is not on Jaguar CD.
Okay, never mind then.
Where did you learn to fly?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. Because I think the AVGN did that. Yep. I think he did a whole video on it.
That's why everybody knows that.
That's actually not where I originally know that from. I had a friend that had that console growing up, and that was the most painstaking line to hear over and over and over again, as we could not learn how to fly.
An entire generation of pilots never grew up and never existed because of that game.
Yes. I also tried to land, what was it, what
Top
video
Gun
game?
NES?
Yes. Impossible. I had that cartridge, I had that console. I tried to land that thing 1,000 times, and I agree with the sentiments of the AVGN on that.
Try it with the Power Glove like he did.
Oh, nope.
That's how he got it to work.
I don't know, I just don't ever want to own a Power Glove.
James is a really nice guy, by the way.
Oh, I believe it. We covered him a couple of weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. It's like one of our top 5 videos and views, actually.
Yeah, everything with his name on it is gold.
Yours is number 6. Yours is right behind him, I think.
Yeah.
You want to see this? I'm pretty positive the video we did with you, or the Tuber Tuesday where we covered you, is one of our most popular videos.
To be honest, our views are not very high though. So
the Scott the Waz video
not the
takes
greatest
the
I'm
cake.
sorry that I'm making them lower.
Well, look, the Scott the Waz video literally, for some reason, just blew up one day.
Yeah, because Scott the Waz. He's an awesome guy.
I believe it. The video we did on him was just meant to be a parody of the JonTron thing.
You know, he actually lives near you.
Yeah, I know he does. I've been to the same stores he's been in.
Yeah, Chris stalks him.
No.
He like looks around for him and he hides out.
I did. So here's
Watch
You know,
out,
he
Scott.
told me at the convention.
I have a short story on that. Okay, I think at one point in time, he went to the university that some of my friends went to. I don't know if he still attends at all, but I'm pretty positive I've seen him before at different places. So, not to be creepy or anything, but I'm pretty positive I've seen him in places. Never talked to him, never like followed him or anything into
So
a dark
creepy,
alley.
Chris.
But
Not what he said, but okay.
but we've reached out to him several times. He's obviously too busy, so it's all good.
The quality of our content and says, no.
Yeah, he's like, no, 690 views, nah. If you get to 1,000, I'll talk to
Or
you.
he's like, oh wait a minute, that's that guy that's been stalking me.
I know that you didn't quite get the joke in the video we put out there because you probably didn't know about the JonTron video, but it actually did pretty well for a first video on a launch channel. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised.
Congratulations.
But 1, 2, 3. You're number 7. Okay, you're number 7. This video, our first video we did, I'm not sure why people keep watching it because
I don't know either. It's terrible.
it's like the worst video we've ever done.
Yeah, that'll happen, dude.
I really
The
don't
ones
know.
that blow up are not the ones you expect.
And then the reason this video in between these two has so many views and it's got over 2 hours of video, we actually went on this subreddit and like asked, hey, who wants us to review their channel? And we got like a ton of responses, like 32 responses of people, and they each sent us a 10-minute video. So like literally this is just us watching videos, telling them what they need to change on their videos to fix their channels. So that's why there's 300.
and we had DW on that day, so
Yeah,
he really,
DW Relive. But
Yep.
yeah,
He
your
helped out.
video's number 7. So obviously you have some popularity and recognition that people found on our channel.
Okay. Glad I could help, I guess.
Do you have any idea what your total game collection size is at this point?
Oh, good God. No. A lot? Dude, I own a Bandai Pladia. Like, I mean, I own garbage. You seen my videos? It's mostly
Yes.
garbage. It's just stuff.
Oh, I got a question. Do you keep everything that you show on your channel, or do you
Yes.
like you do? Okay. You have
I
like
have
a
it all.
storage room for all of that?
It is all within my home. There is, I really don't get rid of stuff. Because if I bought it, I don't want to get rid of it. I have no interest in selling things. And if I'm ever given like review units or something like that, I keep that too. But it's very organized. I just don't know numbers. Like I don't have like, oh, this is exactly how like I can tell you I have a complete Dreamcast set because I know it's complete. Like North American, European, PAL, all that stuff. Like Jaguar CD as well. But then there's a bunch of consoles where I'm like, I'm working on it, but I don't know where the hell we are.
Okay. So, with that being said, the room that you film all of your videos in, do you film it at like a different perspective each time? Because your shelf, the video games on it change consistently in your videos.
It's funny. That shelf is there because it had to go somewhere. It was never meant to be like, this will be my background. It was more like, this shelf has to exist somewhere. This is a good spot. I need to film videos somewhere. I guess this is a table. Let's sit here. I guess you're going to see half of this wall just because of coincidence. It was never meant to be anything like a display. Over time, you can see that I started owning that. I started setting up a couple items specifically, like that copy of Shenmue that's always sitting there, stuff like that. But basically, that shelf houses Genesis games only because they actually fit there. It's more about where will it fit. That's more than anything else. I mean, I try to organize. You know, like if you were to ever like see my place, you would see that all the Saturn games are together, all the Wii U stuff's together, whatever. But most of it is off camera. There's just a little tiny sliver of it on camera because, again, that's just where the shelf had to go.
I swear you've changed out stuff on the shelf in the past, like
Early on, it was like Xbox 360 stuff.
yeah.
But then I got these, like, basically, the room I'm in right now that I'm recording this is more like an office. It's actually you see the door behind me in the videos?
Yep.
I'm in that room right now.
Okay. Okay.
And so that room is basically just an office. and I built these like towers that I got from like IKEA or something, and they were really designed more for like DVD style cases, so but not Genesis style. It was kind of a waste of space. So I moved all the 360 stuff out of there into those cases, but the older ones were more like VHS style cases, so they were better for Genesis games. Hence, like I said, had to go somewhere.
That makes sense. Okay. All right, Will, you got next question.
All right, so being we're filming this on Christmas, right?
Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, totally. Hey, what's
Yeah.
up, everybody? I cut out on my family for this.
Exactly. What are
Let's
some
talk
of
video games?
what are some of your favorite gifts that you received from fans, friends, or family?
Oh, dude. All right, let's see. Let me think. From family, I would have to go back to childhood on that because that was the last time it was ever like, shall we say, magical. I just told this story recently, but like in my Genesis mini video, like my first video game console that was actually like mine to own and was a Genesis. The first console I ever had was an Atari 2600, but that was more or less my mother being like, you don't need any of the new fancy ones, take this old garbage one, even though I liked the 2600. But for Christmas I got a Genesis, and that was like, this is a massive event, and because it was the first time that happened, I think that will always just kind of have a special place in my heart. But when it comes to like fans, I always try to tell people like, don't send me stuff, because I have never in 10 years put out a video saying like, hey guys, can you like donate stuff to my channel? I want stuff. Like, I don't do that. I've never ever put it out there that you need to. Even my Patreon, I actively tell people don't do it. And the only reason it exists is because there were people pretending to be me to rip off people who watch me.
Oh no!
And I was
really?
like, look, there's going to be people who want to support me, and that's going to happen to you guys. There's going to be people who just want to support you. So since that's going to happen, you have to at least give them a safe outlet to do that. So the Patreon exists, but you'll notice I almost never promote it. So whatever. But so the same goes for fans and sending stuff. I'm always like, if they email me about it or message me, whatever, I'll talk to you. But most of the time I'll tell them no. And then most of the time it doesn't happen. But every once in a while they become very insistent. And then they're like, like, you need this. And so you end up with some weird stuff. Like some that have weird stories, like a guy who, for years, if you watch some of my early videos, I did like an entire video about a Sega Dreamcast vinyl record. I did not own a record player, and I just said that. And like every time I got like this Genesis one later, I was like, this is cool, I can't listen to it, but whatever. This one dude named Spock Avriel got like annoyed about that, and after like he was like, I'm tired of hearing you say you don't have a record player, so just one day a record player shows up. He had like retrofitted it. It's like an old Sony one from '92. He's like, I got this completely refurbished, and he was like almost angry about it. He's like, you can't not say you don't have a record player anymore, because now you do. I actually use it. And like I was like, this thing's cool. It actually does sound better. I get the whole vinyl thing now. So that was neat. One of the ones that was really special to me was, and I kind of ruined the surprise on my own, was this guy named Levi Roach contacted me, and he was just like, dude, I've got something I know you're going to want. And I was just like, no, you don't do it. And he's like, no, seriously. And we kept going back and forth until he just showed me pictures of it, like, which ruined the surprise. But after that, I was like, oh, are you serious? He sent me a Sega SG-1000 in the box, which was the Japanese first Sega console.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just did a video on it a couple weeks ago. And this dude is the one who sent it to me, and it was like, this is insane. So over the years, there's been a lot of people who have just sent me stuff like that just kind of means a lot. But, it's... And then there's some stuff that was sent to me that was really weird, and I just didn't know if it was a joke or what. Like, one guy sent 6 Blu-rays of Hancock.
What?
The Will Smith movie.
Why?
I opened the package, just 6 copies of Hancock on Blu-ray. Like, I don't know. But, so sometimes it's always flattering, but it's I don't know. It's not anything else. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, I guess we won't end up. I guess we'll cancel that shirt order where we sent you a CHRILLCAST T-shirt, but no.
No, only if you sent 6. Then it balances.
6 CHRILLCAST T-shirts. No, we're actually working on getting our first T-shirt out. It's not going to be merch. It's just going to be from Will and I. And if you would want one, we would send one to you too.
I would wear it if you sent me one. I would wear it.
Cool.
But you don't have to. But I would wear it.
Well, then we'll have to make sure that happens.
Unless it's got like a picture of me on it or something.
No.
It's already ordered. We'll have it in the mail in a couple days.
I don't know if you know, our mascot is literally a krill, like the shrimp.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, yeah. And the reason it's called the CHRILLCAST, if you didn't know, is you mash up the names Chris and Will together and you get Krill.
Okay.
It was
I thought it had something to do with like it's chill.
no,
Chilling with
no.
Chris or
Everybody
something. I
thinks
don't know.
that.
I
Chilling
haven't
with
really
Chris. Forget Will. Chilling with Chris. I got it. It's good.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
Will hasn't been on every episode.
He only missed one. He only missed
Well,
1 week.
I look behind you and I see the CHRILLCAST logo. Behind you, I see a bunch of books.
I know. Well, Chris likes to give himself the fancy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So Chris is kind of taking over. You got to be careful, Will. Don't let him assert too much power.
You know, the funny thing is, in the beginning, it was much worse because Chris would literally cut me out of the videos or put music over my audio.
That happened
Did he?
one
He's trying to take over, and you
time.
guys are just starting. Be careful.
That happened
It did happen,
one
though.
time. I edited a video on purpose because Will was joking about how I cut him out of videos. So I literally cut the part of
So
him
he cut
cutting
me out of the
himself out of the video.
Yeah.
Out of that video. Anyways,
That was the most viewed one, but we
Yeah.
don't need to talk about that.
so question number 8. Since you travel a lot, what's your favorite
Yeah, a
place to
little bit.
be?
Say again. I'm sorry.
What's your favorite place to be and favorite place to pick up games?
I guess both would be Japan. Yeah, I think that should have been obvious. At least the pickup games part. And I think
I pretty much figured
the problem
that.
with that is, you grow up here, and you're kind of always conditioned that Japan gets all the cool stuff. I mean, doesn't everybody in the gaming community kind of just think that? I can't see what you're holding up, but I know you're
Oh,
holding
I'm
up
sorry.
something.
The
Just tell me.
Japanese version of the Persona 2 games.
There you go. So
Yeah.
we're always conditioned that Japanese get all the cool stuff. So there's always this kind of like allure to it. But I've been doing conventions and all that sort of stuff and collecting in North America for so long that I'm kind of bored with it.
Mhm.
Like there's not. It's like the same stuff. Oh look, more Wii garbage. Look, I can find another Genesis. Like how many? There's not really any like. I don't know if you want to call it challenges or hunts left. But with Japan, they had so much weird stuff that's doable, and that they also uniquely take really good care of their stuff. So you can walk into any junk store and find a Famicom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas
Oh yeah.
European hunting is kind of cool, but the problem is, European culture is a lot like ours, where they don't really take good care of their stuff. So you can't just go in and find like an old Mega Drive. That really doesn't happen very often.
That's true. That's a good point. Like I've been trying to hunt down a PC version of the original Persona game, and they only released it in Japan on like Windows 95. So you can't really get it on any auction sites, and the rare occurrence that it comes on eBay is like set at $200 a piece. But if you can find the Japanese auctions, which is like on Yahoo, is usually where they put it. They usually go between $50 and $100, and I almost got one, but I happened to be in church when the bidding ended, so I missed it.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so European hunting is a little different. Although I have been to a couple of European conventions, and that's a cool environment to do it. But Europe, I do not mean to make fun of the video game consoles that have come out in Europe. Okay, I own an Amiga CD32. I own a Philips CDI. I own an Amstrad GX4000. But the point is, you've never heard of any of those.
I have heard of the
not,
CDI.
They're not particularly interesting or good. And even when I'm over there, I'm in the UK, I'm like, dude, do you have any Amstrad GX4000 games? I get these stares of like, is that the point you're at? like you're trying to collect that crap. That's all it's left. I'm like, I don't need a European Xbox copy of Halo. You know what I mean? Like, I need something different. So at least with Japan, they've had so much weird stuff. There's still a lot to look for. If you take that element away and just say like, where do you like to go? Just to go. Japan is still there. Although I gotta say, on this last trip, I was starting to get actually bored because I was there for so long. I kind of ran out of stuff to do, which is a uniquely stupid problem to have. I don't know. My favorite vacation spot is Guam. That is America's lost treasure. Have you ever heard of that? Anybody even know what Guam is?
I definitely know it through the 3 last videos you talked about it on.
Right? Okay. Yeah. Long story short, it's an American territory in the South Pacific, about 3-hour flight south of Japan. It's the vision everyone who has never been to Hawaii has of Hawaii is actually Guam, and Hawaii is nothing like that.
Is it like an actual tourist destination, or is it just like people
It is
live
for
there?
Japanese. It's not for
Oh,
Americans.
okay.
It is American. That's what makes it so weird. Is like they don't have industry. All they have is tourism, but they cater to Japanese tourists. So I always tell people it's kind of like a weird version of America where Japan won World War II, because like their flag is everywhere. Everybody's dual language in Japanese. A lot of the restaurants cater to Japanese, like, desires, but also because they're mostly catering to Japanese tourists, they're like, okay, what do they want to see here? Well, they want to come to America, but they don't want to go all the way to America, so they're coming here. So what are we going to do that they'll like? What do they want? Okay, they want to go ATV riding. Okay, so we have a lot of weird stuff like that. They want to shoot guns at stuff, so we got a whole bunch of weird gun ranges and stuff like that. And they want to eat giant American burgers, so we have a lot of that. The best burgers I've ever had are all on that island. They know what they're doing.
Okay.
So as far as then you have like the beaches, which are insane because there's like nobody there. So it's like, oh look, I'm gonna walk out onto this like perfect beach and there's no one on it.
Is it expensive to go there from like straight from the U.S. or can't you?
The only way to get there through the U.S. is to change planes in Honolulu.
Okay.
And the easier way, I kid you not, is actually to go through Japan, because like I said, the Japanese are the ones that are going there. So most of the flights come out of Tokyo or Osaka. I've been there a couple of times, but it was usually due to coincidence because it's a big hub for the Pacific. So like one of the times I went through Japan, I had the option to change planes there. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I can hang out. I've never been to Guam before. And the last time I was in Guam was I was going to Japan for a while for all this Shenmue 3 stuff. And in the middle of it, I had a buddy who was sent down to Guam for work, and we just happened to be in the same time zone because of that. And he was like, do you want to come down to Guam, dude? I'll bring you down and you can just crash with me while I'm here for a week. And I was like, that sounds like a plan. So it's almost always been entirely coincidental.
All right.
It's totally unrelatable. I get it. I can tell by the looks on your faces.
Well, I depending on what it would cost to fly there, I would definitely consider going on a vacation. This sounds awesome.
Yeah, like I said, have either of you been to Hawaii?
Nope.
I have not. Nope.
Do you have a vision of what Hawaii is like?
Yes.
It's not like that at all. It is like Honolulu is like a really warm Cleveland. It's I don't know how else to put it. It's another American city. You forget you're on an island until you get near Waikiki Beach, which is polluted with human beings, and then you're like, oh right, water. Guam is actually that thing. It's actually that vision of like, wow, this like paradise beach full of trees and there's no one there. So yeah, it's really cool, but it is difficult to get to, which is why most Americans would probably never bother.
Makes sense.
I only did it as a matter of coincidence.
And I know you've gone to GameStop every time you go to Guam.
Dude, if you want video games in Guam, you're screwed. Like there's only two options, and both of them are GameStops.
But you've said they're really good. You've said they're really good every time.
Those are the two best GameStops I've ever been to in my life.
I have to say the best GameStop I've ever been to, because I haven't been to a ton of them, but is the one that Billy was working at before. And when Billy left, the quality certainly dropped a little bit with as far as consumer satisfaction goes, because he's like literally the best GameStop employee I've ever ran into in my life. Shout out to Billy again.
Someone has to try.
Yeah, at least one of them does.
But not to digress. The next question is from Will.
All right. So this is kind of a bit of a longer question. Going forward, will there be videos coming out in the near future, like probably after 2020, for the 8th generation of video game consoles, or are you thinking about sticking more with just the 7th generation before?
Yeah, I've definitely got videos coming out throughout the end of the year.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing stuff, obviously, in 2020. I have no intention of quitting YouTube. If you're talking about like an 8th gen recap,
yes, that's the question.
Yes.
The earliest that could really happen is after the 9th gen stuff all comes out. But
okay.
We get into an interesting territorial argument here, which is the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna keep it real with everybody, I'm saying it. Nintendo Switch is not a 9th gen console. It is an 8th gen console.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, and you will have people, usually children, who argue that it is not. It is in fact a 9th gen console, and it is not an 8th gen console because it came out a couple years ago, which is not a good argument. Mm-hmm. Generally, I think people do not like the idea that Nintendo could be that out of date. And I've actually had people argue. I mean, I kid you not. There was some argument I had with someone in there recently on one of the videos. I think it was on the video, like the PlayStation or Xbox recap for this year. And this guy was making the case that there's no way it can't be a 9th gen console because it's more powerful than the Xbox One X. I'm like, what is this guy smoking? Because the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Somebody actually said that?
Oh, yeah, dude, it's in there. And I'm pretty sure he was a kid based on the way he was going back and forth. But I really only ever get that argument from people who are probably kids. Adults, if they express that opinion, it's usually not that hard to kind of make them go, huh, okay, that does make sense.
Yeah.
But kids, not so much. At least that's my impression. Maybe they're just really stupid adults. I don't know. But whatever. But the basic argument is, in my opinion, the hardware of it does not even meet the level of the base Xbox One, which no one can dispute is an 8th gen console. It is. It also, the timing of it is unique. I mean, it came out nearly 3 years ago. There's no reason to think that the 9th gen actually started 3 years ago.
No.
Especially because there has been hardware like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X that have come out after it, which we also call 8th gen consoles. Mm-hmm. And then usually people will make the claim that's like, but you can't have two consoles in the same generation. I'm like, yeah, you can. Sega did it with the SG-1000 and the Master System. Atari did it with the 2600 and the 5200. SNK did it with the Neo Geo AES and the Neo Geo CD. In fact, Nintendo was the only dedicated video game console company that hadn't done that yet. So now they have the Wii U and the Switch. I'm saying it. They are both 8th gen consoles.
I would definitely agree with that. That's sentiment entirely. I think really what's going to happen is you're going to get like a Switch 2.0 like 2 years into the 9th generation. That's my guess.
I agree with you, and it probably that's when it'll get really fun because that version will probably be like the same capabilities as like a base PS4 or something. Yes. Then it'll be like, oh, cool. It still doesn't meet the criteria.
But Nintendo doesn't have to compete hardware. I mean, they've got the Nintendo IPs.
And that's
can't
what
get them anywhere else.
Nerds like us want to argue about what generation it falls in. No, it fell at this point. After the line, that's when it's this generation.
Were you just channeling Francis there?
Yeah.
Whereas the guys making this, like, I don't give a crap about that. Like,
that really,
they're trying to make money. You think they care about meeting some arbitrary definition of what a generation is?
That impersonation literally sounded like Boogie's Francis.
It was spot on. Spot on.
Was that what you were going for?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's just like generic nerd.
So we'll miss the second half of the question. Will you ever tackle the generations of handhelds?
Yes, eventually.
Okay, so that is a plan.
It's more
I wasn't
about
sure.
time, dude. I'm never home.
Yeah.
Like this year of 2019, I've spent less than maybe 2.5 months collectively at home. I'm never here now. I'm here freakishly long right now. I'm not really sure of what to do about it because like it's the holiday, so you can't really go. But even just a few days ago, I was in San Francisco for a couple days, and it happens. I'm constantly sent to a bunch of random stuff. So when you get home, it's all about make videos. But then sometimes you have to make videos that are more relevant at that point in time. Yeah. And to be honest, at least when it comes to the console stuff, I wanted to fill in the gaps, at least this holiday season, with a bunch of those the random consoles that I now own that I had missed before. Since I haven't actually started the handheld stuff, I'm not super motivated to get into it. But I mean, I'll do it. It's just a matter of when. But I think I need to actually finish the first gen stuff first, which really there would only be like 2 videos for that because it's Magnavox Odyssey and then everything else because everything else is just a Pong clone. So I would just be like, these are the Pong clones I have. Look, here's one by Atari. Here's one by Magnavox. Here's one by Nintendo. Isn't that cool? They all play the same game. Bye. Like, I mean, that's the problem. You can't do videos on each one of those things. Handhelds you can, but I'm also a little worried about that just because I know there's so many of those things I don't have, and I'm also, as you've kind of noticed, probably a little anal about wanting to get all these things first because even though I do these things retroactively, I don't really like doing it that way. I'd rather have it all up front.
Yeah.
But handhelds I just don't have I don't even own a Vita. Like it's not.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not.
Oh my gosh, the Vita is great. That's my Persona 4 Golden machine.
Yeah, well, my basic response to it is, dude, I own a television. You know,
you can get a Vita TV.
Oh, I have one of those. But what I'm saying is, handhelds in general, my opinion is, dude, I own a television.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I'd rather play it there. And you would think, as someone who travels a lot, that I would be like, "Oh, dude, I'm all about that." But no, it's just another thing to carry around.
Yeah, I totally agree with you and understand that sentiment. Like every time I've gotten a handheld console, I barely use it because I don't want to carry it with me.
I'm the exact opposite. I like gaming in bed. My wife likes watching like the random shows that she watches. So I just game while she watches the show, and if I like the show, I tune in and I turn off the handheld, and if I don't like the show, then I got something to do.
Yep. See,
Yes.
I just converted my wife to play with me, so now we both play Halo or whatever game.
Yeah, but see, context led you to that. If she was into video games, as Will's is, you'd be doing that instead. You
That
wouldn't
is
be playing
true.
portably.
That is
Or if
true.
you live by yourself, you wouldn't be doing that. You're doing that under. You're basically doing that under stress, like a wartime.
You mean
situation.
duress? Are
Yeah.
you saying duress?
Yes.
Okay, fine. This segment's getting cut out. No, I'm just kidding. So the last question.
I just think it's funny because even in your example, you're playing a handheld to make the best of a bad situation. Not because
Yeah. No.
I'll be honest. I do play handhelds more so than consoles. It's always been that way, but that's because I started gaming, like seriously gaming. Because I had a Super Nintendo. I played like Zelda, some other games like that, and then the original Nintendo. I had that, and I had an N64. But when I really started playing a lot, it was probably the Game Boy Color and Pokemon, and then I just handhelds all the way since then, until I got my PS3 and Xbox 360. That was when I really got back into dedicated consoles, and then back into handhelds when the Vita came out.
Hey
I
man,
don't know.
whatever makes you happy. I just had to make fun of that situation.
Yeah, my description wasn't very good.
No, it was funny though because I put it myself in that situation. I'm like, when would I play it? Oh, if I'm on a plane or something. Okay, again, making the best of a bad situation is like the only time I ever look at like a handheld for entertainment. But that's just me. Now, it wasn't always like that when I was a kid. It was the same thing. But then even then, it's like, well, why would I play it on a handheld? Because my sister is using the TV. Damn it. You know what I mean?
That's why the
Now
Wii
that I
U's
have
so
my own
great.
television, why would I bother?
That's why the Wii U's so
I hear
great.
that.
Play
Yes,
it-
the Wii U.
I love the Wii U.
Me
So
too.
I've got one last question for you, Adam. Hopefully this is not a hard question to answer. Since you've been doing this a long time now, what advice would you give to newer creators to prevent them from burning out?
Keep it fresh and go at your own pace, but also understand you have a base that expects your channel to keep it fresh while also keeping it the same,
Yep.
which can get kind of stressful. So make sure that you are finding a reason to do a video other than, I need to make a video. If you want to make a video, great. Be excited about it. Make the video the way you want to make it, whatever feels organic to you. Your audience will follow because they followed you already. So they know this is how this individual works. But don't listen to a whole bunch of comments about like, you should do this and you should do that, because sooner or later it won't be your channel anymore and you won't really enjoy what you're doing. Feedback is fine. Criticism is fine. There's obviously a lot of legitimate feedback, and take it as it comes. But don't just be like, well, one guy said our video is bad, so maybe we shouldn't do videos anymore. Or one guy said that the picture of me, I look like a dork. Let's take new photos. Like, you don't need to take everything personally, and you don't need to completely alter your style for some basic feedback. But to keep it fresh, you should also occasionally experiment and see what kind of works. Like, just recently, I did a video about Blockbuster. It really has nothing to do with my channel. I just wanted to talk about Blockbuster because I went to the last one. There's one in Bend, Oregon. It is the last one in the world that is still operational. And I thought, dude, I'm going to go through this town while we're driving. I want to stop there and like just see it and then make a video about it. I kind of got inspired to do that. And so I did it. And that video did insane. Like, I haven't had a video do that well in a long time. It actually is over 100,000 views in just like a week or so. You can look, it's near the top. There you go, Blockbuster Adventure right there. But that one is not the normal formula for a video of my channel. I mean, people even commented like, dude, you shot this in HD. It actually doesn't look like shit like most of your videos. I'm like, no, it's totally weird. But that's the kind of thing that'll keep you kind of excited to do new things. So you can kind of like, look, yeah, see, we are at the last operational Blockbuster right there in Bend, Oregon. That's the kind of stuff that I think you will, if you can come up with things that are more adventurous outside your comfort zone, you will occasionally find a reason to go back to your comfort zone. So like the success of this and the excitement of this made me go, all right, this is cool. They're happy. You know what I should do? I should reward them. What do they want? Well, they always want those recaps. Well, you know what? I could fill the gaps in. It just kind of keeps you going. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, we did something like that. We did the CHRILLCAST goes to Dave and Buster's, and that video tanked. Because it was just
Dave and Buster's is everybody has Dave and Buster's. You gotta do something weird.
Mm-hmm. We did that. I guess I could do a video on my accidental purchase of a GameCube component cable, but
hey, whatever you want, man. I'm just saying, keep it. If it stops being fun for you, and it starts becoming like a chore, and you're never happy about it, you're probably not meant to keep doing it.
Well, this is the fun stuff. Is having guests on here. The fun part is having guests on the podcast. I have to say that's the most fun part.
Well, then keep pursuing that.
And then the last question, the second half of the last question is, how have you managed to keep your channel going so long? And I think you kind of answered that by changing it up every once in a while.
Partially that, and I just have seniority at this point, dude. Like, I know too many people, and I stay alive on some sort of zombie-like, life support or something. I don't know how I'm still here.
Well, I guess I have a question. Besides that society, what's that? I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
There's Blame Society Films and Game Society Pimps.
Game Society Pimps. How many other channels are you part of? Because I knew about the Game Society
At the moment, I'm
Pimps.
just doing my own thing. That was kind of the major change I made earlier this year. But at one time I was with them. I was with Blame Society Films. And I was with Machinima. Part of it is that Machinima no longer exists.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So it was time to make some certain changes, and I'm pretty happy with the direction that it's been going. It's been opening a lot of new doors.
Have you seen a lot more view growth at all since you've gone your own way?
Not the channel specifically, but the thing is, I do a lot of stuff outside of YouTube. The YouTube channel has become more or less like my business card.
Okay.
It gives me credibility to be like, yeah, we'll let that guy do it because he covered this. I don't know how else to put it, because I can't even explain to my mother. She just tells people I'm like a lawyer or something, because my job doesn't make sense to anybody. It's like I get a lot of weird video game opportunities. That's why I'm traveling so much. It's like, we need a guy to take a look at this so that we can make changes to it. That one nerd, he talked about this. Bring him. So then I'll get flown out to some random spot and be like, yeah, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing right. This is what I would do. Blah blah blah. And there you go. They make changes. That happens. Yeah, stuff like that. It's little side gigs. The channel itself, I'm happy with it. I would of course like to see it expand even further. But it's I don't know how to put it. It's like it was meant to be this kind of passion thing that just accidentally turned into a career.
Do you have so do you work for yourself at this point essentially?
Oh, I've been self-employed. Yeah, forever.
Forever. Okay. Well, the Machinima thing.
I think the last job where I worked for anybody was like in high school.
I meant like technically you worked with or for Machinima at one point in time.
Oh yeah, they were so they were our representation, and they would get us various gigs, and we would make content for them. But essentially, the way the industry works, you're just a contract hire, so it's like they pay you for an individual video.
So you'd be like the Associated Press doing the newspaper articles, kind of same idea.
I'm not entirely certain. No, for us it's like
I guess I didn't explain that very well. What they
would do for us is like, hey, we want 12 episodes of a show, and we'll pay you X amount per episode, and then you're just responsible for making a video of that particular show like once every week or 2 weeks or whatever the contract stipulates.
I mean, lucky for me, back when you had to kind of sign up with an MCN for video games, I wasn't doing video games, so I don't really know that side of YouTube, to be totally honest with you.
It's a weird world. It comes with certain pluses and minuses, like anything else.
Yeah.
So, with the interview being technically concluded, is there anything else that you wanted to say on this episode that is airing on Christmas?
Go visit Blockbuster.
That's a weird plug.
We're watching the video.
Yeah. If there's anything you got out of this video,
so
right?
The decade is about to end. This is the decade that took Blockbuster from us. So now we're about to enter a decade where there's only ever going to be a one Blockbuster. Go rent a video. Celebrate a Blockbuster night on Christmas night for the people of Bend, Oregon.
I think the next decade will end with Netflix being gone, but hey, that's just me.
Hey, it's possible, man. Disney Plus is crushing them.
Oh, I know they are. So with that being said, everybody who is watching this video, go subscribe to Adam Koralik.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And when you're done, then you can come over back to the CHRILLCAST and subscribe to us.
Yeah,
Chances are you're subscribed here already.
Chances are.
Well,
Yes.
it would be really weird if someone's watching this video is not subscribed to me or you.
That's true.
To that guy, dude.
Yes.
But thank you.
All right. With that being said, we appreciate Adam being willing to do this interview.
Yes. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
I will make sure that I've shared this video several times and probably get banned from the Star Wars subreddit again.
Why would you get banned from Star Wars over this?
Oh, I did already.
No, over this video. We're talking
No,
about
not
Blockbuster.
this video. Well, I would. The mods on there are crazy, but.
Oh, well, hey, to those guys, I went to Star Wars Celebration this year, so he's got immunity. Don't think about it. It does. It works.
It's too late. Every time I ask to be unbanned,
No. I
they
got
reban
you.
me.
I went to Star Wars Celebration. That gets you out of it.
All right. As always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm the Emperor.
Oh no.
You will unban him. Ban him. I can't pronounce words. Something dark side.
Oh man, we will see you.
Next
It could be
CHRILLCAST.
worse, dude. I could be whipping out the Jar Jar here.
Oh yeah.
You're unbanning him, man.